now that August has begun, it's time to look back at all of the DVD purchases I made in August, and we have a lot to get through. Hey everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema, and before we get into my haul, I just want to say July has been a great month for me and my channel. It has passed 125 subscribers in the very last day in July. I've gotten over 90 followers on Instagram, as well as 15 on my newly made Twitter account. So if you want to check me out and DM me on those accounts, want to just chat with me, go ahead. But because I have so much DVDs to show you, I want to start right away. But I want to give a huge thank you to my brother-in-law because he's provided so much of his DVD collection. I made a few purchases myself, but I didn't get any Funko Pops this month, and we're going to start with my purchases first, then get into the haul I got from my brother-in-law. But without further ado, let's begin. And first up, we have Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, the first Disney live-action film that's ever released, and it was pretty good. I really enjoyed the take on it. I just didn't see the character moments because of the technology they had at the time. They had real animals, but they weren't able to speak, so it lost a little bit of the charm. Next up, we have a Blu-ray DVD of The Young Messiah. This is a story about Jesus when he was a young kid, an adaptation of that, and I actually haven't got to watch it, but I actually found this at the Dollar Tree for only $1, of course, as well as RoboCop. I haven't watched this movie either, but we got it on Blu-ray and DVD and digital for only $1, so I had to pick those two up. Those were the two most interesting ones they had there. And then next up, we have Ghostbusters 1 and 2. We got this at my sister's town. They have a little discount store, and it says 2 for $3, but there's more of a discount for 70% off of the yellow tag. So this ended up being only 50 cents each, which was a super good deal. Lastly, from this pile, we have Inception. This was a movie I'm really looking forward to watch. Once I get in through all of the rankings, I have to rewatch all the movies for it. From eBay, there was a sale of buy 3 get 1 free at this one store, and then there was also a $5 off discount for just recently starting my eBay store of purchasing items. We first have the Taken trilogy. This is a fun collection of movies. The second is my least favorite. I probably would order it 1, 3, 2. Gonna have to rewatch them, but I really do enjoy this series. I watched the first one before college, the second basically halfway through college when we got it on Netflix, and we didn't, for the longest time, we weren't able to find the third, but finally near the end of the year, we got to watch the third because my friend had it. So that was a fun adventure, just going through a whole year just to watch a trilogy. And that was a good pickup there for basically only $12, and then of course the discounts with all of these other movies. Next we have Zodiac. Never watched this movie, but heard a few good things about it, but it was a part of the discount of the buy 2 get 1 free. And it has Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr. made before the MCU, I believe. And next we have Looper, Brothers Bloom, then Brick, which are all Rian Johnson films. I actually am one that liked Last Jedi, and so I'm wanting to really look into watching the other movies he has, because especially with Knives Out coming out this November, I'm going to want to rewatch those and then maybe do a ranking on all of the films that Rian Johnson directed. All of those DVDs were the ones that I purchased myself or I got from my parents or whatever, but all of the ones coming forward, which is so many, is the ones that I got from my brother-in-law, so thank you to him once again. First up, we got some Disney ones. We have the Pixar Finding Nemo. What a classic. This is a pretty good one. I'm gonna have to rewatch some of the Pixar movies that I haven't watched in a while, and maybe eventually I'll do a Pixar ranking, at least when Onward comes out, so I'm gonna have to watch those over time. Next we have more of the classics. We have Alice in Wonderland, the cartoon version, and then we have Sleeping Beauty, an older one. Of course, some of these are on Blu-ray and contain the DVD. I actually don't have a Blu-ray player, but eventually I want to pick up probably a PS4 for both the gaming and then also having a Blu-ray player. So right now that's why I'm mostly picking up DVDs. Next up we have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Haven't watched this one in a while. And then we have Aladdin and the Little Mermaid. These ones were pretty good. Didn't really care for the Little Mermaid as much. I didn't have as much fun with that. I have that in a Disney Renaissance ranking up there of what I think of those movies, but I really do love the Aladdin one. I really love Robin Williams as the genie. Moving on, we got a franchise from my brother-in-law, or at least most of the franchise. We have Mission Impossible, and I actually haven't watched these franchise, and unfortunately most of the ones he gave me are on Blu-ray because he's gotten some from garage sales or some other friends. I don't have the Blu-ray player, like I said, but once I do, I'll be able to watch these. But I do actually have these access on YouTube TV, so I'm going to be checking those out there probably first before I get a Blu-ray player. That's probably what's going to happen, but really wanting to check these out. I have heard a lot about these. So we have the first one, we have Mission Impossible 2, and I really like Tom Cruise as an actor, so that's what makes me interested in this series, especially since in action franchise. And then we have Mission Impossible 3, as well as Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, I believe. Next up, we have a few oddball movies that don't really have a franchise, but we have Flipper. This was a fun one I had as a child. I watched this and haven't really watched it since. So, and The Sandlot, this is a fun one, just fun humor added within the mix of this one. Only watched it once, so really excited to actually own this. Gonna be watching it sometime. And then we have Spaceballs. I heard there's a lot of humor about this. This is a spin-off of Star Wars, of course. Gonna see how this turns out because I haven't watched this yet either, but I love the Star Wars franchise. And then next up we have Men in Black 3. We only have the third one, but this is probably one of my favorites. I have a ranking up in the corner, and I just really love time travel movies, so that was just a fun aspect of bringing into the Men in Black universe. And then last of this pile we have Fast 5, getting into the different Fast and Furious movies. I have the other ones on YouTube TV, so this is one I can add to my collection. We have Hancock with Will Smith. Haven't watched this movie, but I've been getting a lot of movies watching Will Smith this year. Mission Impossible, some of those other movies, so that's been pretty good. Gonna be checking this one out. Did not get the case, but still got the DVD, so I can still check it out. Next up we have World War Z. Never watched this, and I'm interested to see what a zombie movie was like. I haven't gotten into the Walking Dead series since I don't really have access to the TV show or anything like that. Haven't really watched any of the zombie movies, so I'm interested to see what this one is like, and also gonna be checking out Zombieland before the second Zombieland is coming out because that one looks pretty cool. Next up we have Scooby-Doo. This was a fun one I watched as a kid. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but it's just bringing Scooby-Doo to live action, which was a pretty interesting concept, and I think it was pretty good from what I remember. And then next up we have Scooby-Doo 2, which I didn't actually watch, but interesting thing about this is there's mini DVDs, which is mini size discs that fit in normal DVD players. And this is actually the size of them, which the circle around it is probably the size of a normal DVD. So they're pretty small, and the thing about these is you have to watch both discs to actually watch the full movie. So it's basically like the VHSs where you had to play 2 VHSs to watch the movie for like Titanic or some of the longer movies. So I found that kind of interesting. Down to the final set of DVDs I have for this haul, and all of these were still coming from my brother-in-law. First up we have The Hobbit on Blu-ray, DVD, and Ultraviolet. I heard that might be closing soon, so that's going to be interesting what that comes out. And I actually have all of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings DVDs, but the thing about this is for some reason like a year ago, I couldn't find the other ones. I may have lent it out to a friend or someone, but I never figured out who I lent it to. But he had an extra copy of this, and he gave me the one with the Blu-ray and DVD as well. So that was really good. I got that back, and now I have one of these on Blu-ray as well whenever I get that. Next up we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, another one I watched when I was younger, this was a pretty good one. I actually mildly enjoy it. I sort of like the reboots as well, or at least the first reboot. Never got into watching the second one, which I still gotta do, but this was a pretty fun one. And next up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man on Blu-ray and DVD. This is a pretty good one. I don't think Andrew Garfield makes the best Spider-Man and Peter Parker, but I still enjoy this movie. Not as much the second one, but it's still a good one in the end. Next up, we have the only MCU movie I got, but one of my more favorite ones. We have Iron Man 3. This is a pretty fun one. I love the final battle of this movie. Don't really mind too much that they had the Mandarin twist in this one. It doesn't really affect the movie for me besides the loss of potential for that villain, but overall I still really enjoy this, and Iron Man's my favorite character, so really like that one. For the final three movies, we have Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, number 2, 3, and 4. And these are actually my childhood movies. And I've grown up watching them, and I read all of the books, but all of them I only watched one time. From when I rewatched the first one last year, but I haven't got back into rewatching them. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I remember from them, but I really did love the books. I love the movies. So this is still a franchise I really need to get back into rewatching. And besides these, I only have the Fantastic Beasts 1 DVD. So at least I got some more to add to my collection of DVDs. Gonna have to get back into rewatching these soon, and probably doing a ranking, especially when the Fantastic Beasts 3 coming out. Really, I just counted all of these movies up. You see them right here. We got 26 movies from my brother-in-law, and if you didn't figure it out, I got all of those for free. He was willing to just give them up. It helped him by clearing some things out, and there were 13 movies that I got myself, including the Jungle Book VHS, which I had to get for my Disney live action ranking. Overall, I got 39 of them, which is pretty crazy. But of course, that was just my haul for the month of July 2019, and I'd love to hear yours down in comments below. What Funko Pops or movie toys did you get? What DVDs and Blu-rays did you get? I'd love to hear your comments, and if you want to hear me talk about movies more, click that subscribe button, like this video if you enjoyed it, and follow me on my socials if you want to get more updates behind the scenes and just other movie news. And as always, I'll be back to talk movie reviews, rankings, and more.